like he is bringing out the Little Cup team that he has been running for a while. I recognize all 8 of those baby Tems that he's been running for a bit. And we're going to see what happens here. It looks like he's deciding what he wants to ban on the side of Wet Willeh. Willeh bringing out what looks to be a very aggressive-looking Size Munch comp with the triple melee. Gets the Size Munch out of here right away. Doesn't want anything to do with that monkey.
Yeah, I would imagine with the low HP pools that these baby Tems have, a heat up Size Munch could pretty much one-shot every single Tem on Workman's side, so really good ban. But yeah, you know, funny enough, I thought the Kisiwa patch, like you said, Chad, he's been running this baby team for quite some time. I thought we would see some Kisiwa baby Tems, but you know, Workman has been making this work for him for quite some time, so you know, going with what he's comfortable with. So we'll see what he's able to do with this baby Tem.
And it looks like Willeh's gonna pick Wolfie for his opener. It looks like Wolfie seems to be pretty consistent. I mean, the only threat that 8-Bit and potentially has into the Wolfie is the Smazzy with melee typing. But yeah, we're gonna see what baby Tems he's gonna go with here. It looks like he is going to pick up the Smazzy to kind of help deal with the Wolfie a little bit, and he's hovering maybe the Oclora, maybe the Zephyruff. I know that a Zephyruff can carry some games because I think it has air specialists, so it can actually hit pretty hard with its wind moves.
Very
but
true.
It looks like he's hovering that Oclora right now. He's very tempted to pick it here. He's starting to think about it as his reserve time starts to tick down.
Yeah, perhaps trying to have a clean answer to perhaps the mix pickup. With the mix does counter the Smazzy pickup from Workman, so maybe trying to have an answer to that mental Tem, but goes with the Orphill pickup. So what does Wet Willeh want to answer with?
We could see a potential, Kinu or mix coming out here. Maybe Kinu just for mental type to help check the Smazzy. But maybe he has other plans. Looking at that Volaran, alright, he's thinking Kinu or Volaran. What do I want to bring out here? I mean, hovering 2-Vine just a little bit. But yeah, alright, he does bring out the Kinu. Gives that mental, gives that beta burst to help check the Smazzy, whose stats are pretty low because it's a beta Tem. Or a baby Tem, not a beta Tem.
Oh, it's not an alpha, huh, Chad? It's a beta Tem.
Smazzy's the best starter in the game. That's a hot take.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely really good, especially with that trade. Most likely Fever Rush, increased stats for every. Actually, I forgot how it reads. You get increased attack and defense for.
No, you just get attack up when you get status on you. Yeah.
Okay, that's what it was.
And how it works is if the Smazzy gets plagued, every Wolfie wears handcuffs, so it applies the exhaust and it applies the trap. So Smazzy actually gets +2 attack if he gets hit by a plague because of how Fever Rush works. Yeah,
so he definitely has to keep an eye on that. But yeah, the Kinu also has to be careful. If there's one thing to note about Orphill, it is the hardest hitting Toxic Ink in the game, and that is available turn 1. So this Kinu could be brought down in the opening turn if Wet Willeh's not careful, because that Toxic Ink is gonna hurt.
Oh yeah, he's got the Toxic Affinity, 50% bonus damage, I believe, on that Toxic Ink. We're gonna see the Pajaro come out on the side of 8-Bit, and then we're gonna see the Volaran come out on the side of Willeh, hovering Scunch for his next pick. He was able to ban the Oclora. I actually don't know if Oclora is just the crystal or if it has the crystal and the mental typing. I'm gonna look that up right now so I don't have it. Okay, it's just crystal.
I believe just crystal, yeah.
So yeah, 0 mentals to check this Scunch. So I think Scunch could be a very threatening pick here in the 8-Bitten. And there he goes with the Scunch.
The only mental damage that I would think of, if Orphill, I believe Narco Hit is an egg move, so I think Orphill does have it available if 8-Bitten did want to bring it into his move kit. So that would potentially be a mental coverage that Orphill could bring out. So Wet Willeh has to be careful about that. But yeah, like you said, that's about the only thing, and that is a hold move. So maybe not available at the same time as Scunch. We would just have to see.
And then we see the Zephyruff and the Umishi come out in the end of 8-Bit, and then now Willeh's got to decide whether he wants to bring in the Gialis or the Two-Vine here, and it looks like he's slightly leaning towards the Gialis. 5 seconds left on reserve time to pick what he wants to pick, and he does go with the Gialis for the last pick, and with that, our game between 8-Bitten and Wet Willeh will go underway.
Yeah, exactly right. Round number 2 at that has begun. So 8-Bitten versus Wet Willeh. And man, it's so funny every single time we see this baby team, especially watch it from that first hand perspective. The Smazy and the Orphle looking so little, but you can't count them out. They are quite ferocious if not taken care of, so Wet Willeh should not be taking this team too lightly despite their size.
Yeah, they definitely hit very hard. Like you said, the Orphle with the hardest hitting Toxic Ink in the game thanks to that Toxic Affinity and pretty solid base attack, I believe.
Yeah, so trying to keep things rather standard, the Smazy does have access to P-Jab and an uppercut opening, so I could see that going into the Wolfie spot. And then the Orphle, if the Kinu wants to stay in to try to punish the Smazy with something like a Beta Burst, I could see a hard hitting Toxic Ink into the Kinu spot. So we'll just have to see. Like you said, the Plague onto Smazy ends up giving the Smazy 2 buffs of attack there. So is it worth it?
And then if he plagues the Orphle, you know, it does a quarter damage. So Wolfie has to make a very difficult decision right now. I mean, I don't know if the Plague Beta double would even kill the Smazy. I think 8-Bitten has a fairly tanky spread on the Smazy to help survive double-ins like that, but we will have to see what happens. Maybe Wet Willeh goes with the double just to see if it can in fact kill the Smazy, but if it doesn't, you're going to have, you know, he's going to be +2 attack, he's going to be very angry, so you don't really want to deal with that.
Yeah, exactly. So Wet Willeh has to hope that the Plague and the Beta Burst goes, but the Kinu will retreat, not trying to eat that Toxic Ink, so will bring out the Volrin just in case, but both playing it safe. So 8-Bitten not trying to eat the Beta Burster will retreat the Smazy for the Zephy, so like father like son, both out on the board.
And it looks like the Plague was actually going to go into the Smazy, but he decides to swap into the Zephyroth instead to tank it. And it looks like Wolfie's going to take some of those poison ticks, and that second poison tick will take it below half HP. So if he decides to keep Wolfie on the field, which I don't think he'll end up doing, but if it did and it did get doubled into, it'd be very likely that Wolfie would be knocked out this turn.
Yeah, and that it did all that damage with the Kinu Protector buff just to show you how strong it did hit there. But yeah, you're absolutely right. If it does connect one more time, I do believe Wolfie will go down. But Wet Willeh doesn't really have that much of a good swap out. If he is predicting another Toxic Ink, I guess it would be Gialis. You don't get, with the resistance trait, you don't get those 2 ticks of poison, just 1. And then a Crystal, of course, being resistant to Toxic, it will keep it pretty healthy there. So I think that's a solid switch up for Wet Willeh. But you know, with the Volrins having these doppelgangers as we're used to seeing, that applies to the entire evolutionary line. So this Volrin staring down Zephyroth might be a heavy feather Gatling, but of course you can also send it in the direction of the Orphle. So a couple decisions for Willeh.
The doppel working on the baby Zephyroth. I mean, we still don't know whether it's an aerobic or an anaerobic Volrim, but that feather Gatling is still going to hit that baby Zephyroth very hard. Dad might be looking to send his son into timeout this turn, potentially.
Yeah, he's been misbehaving all week. It's time to put him a little ground in punishment. Let's see what Wet Willeh decides to do. I mean, it's trapped, so if there's any time to take care of it, it will be right now while he's not able to retreat.
Yeah, and Zephyroth is one of the bigger threats on 8-Bitten's team, again, just because of the air specialist, you know, just doing a bunch of damage with his wind techniques. A very solid damage threat overall. I could see, like, oh, it looks like he's gonna swap the Orphle out, gonna bring out the Pajaro instead. It'll be interesting to see. Oh, it looks like Wolfie's gonna get swapped out as well. Did not want to risk the double and brings in Gialis instead, and we're gonna see if yep, he's gonna hit his son with a, oh no, he's going into the Paharo slot with the hyperkinetic slot strike, and it is an aerobic Volerend.
Wow, so really good read for Workman here, reading that hyperkinetic going into Orphill, but look at that damage with the air specials, almost 50% on it, but not going into the Zephy there, so very interesting. But it looks like he doesn't even have doppelgangers, so Wet Willie and Workman, no doppelgangers on their Zephys, on their Volerand. So yeah, maybe done more damage to the Orphill, but nicely read for Workman there.
And those air moves are just gonna keep hitting the Volerand. Those wind moves are gonna keep hitting the Volerand harder and harder as he keeps attacking, because his special defense is just gonna keep ticking down due to aerobics. So I don't know. He doesn't have the doppelganger. Oh, it looks like we're gonna have the Paharo go through with turbo choreography to get +2 to the Sephiroth.
Oh, this might be a heavy hitting HKS, but wait a minute, it would have been going off already. Maybe a simple feather galley. No, it's a tornado. That's definitely gonna kill. So the Zephy, the dad, the son punishing the daddy here. You know, the son getting a bit too grown up these days, putting a work in on the daddy there. So well done, 8-Bit, getting the kill. But you know, Wet Willie does not let it go for free, does punish the son there. So both the dad and the son getting their punishment there. So well done for both sides.
The fact that the little baby bird was able to two-shot the grown-up Volerand just shows how powerful this air specialist hand fan Sephiroth really is. Just a huge threat in terms of damage. And yeah, we're gonna see what they bring out next. Into this Gialis. 8-Bit doesn't have something that particularly checks it, but maybe we'll see the Orphill come out here. You know, maybe annoy it a little bit with some Toxic Inks. And we'll see the Kinu come out as well, giving Gialis +1/+1, making this a very tanky Gialis to deal with for 8-Bit.
Yeah, so the Paharo going up +2 speed, so I do believe a hyperkinetic strike is online for that Paharo, and that's a +2 speed. I don't think I could say I've ever seen a HKS from a baby Paharo, so this might be a first time seeing it. But just in case, Kinu does come out to buff up the Gialis, but it does retreat for the time being for the Scunch here. Oh! Little
we're gonna see the
control.
Hypnosis come out. We got the +2 speed, so he's definitely using that disadvantage. Gallus, of course, with the resistance, so he's gonna be able to reduce that down to 1 turn of sleep, but that is going to cancel out one of his moves, and we're gonna see the Tink go on to Scunch, dealing quite a chunk of damage and poisoning him. So it effectively did about half his health and damage. So now Scunch in a little bit of an uncomfortable spot, but now that Scunch is swapped in, he's got access to his very powerful Savage Suplex, which could put quite a dent into one of 8-Bit's baby temps here.
Yeah, quite a dent indeed. I dare say will one-shot any of these baby temps. Savage Suplex paired up with that resistance badge on top of having stabs as well.
And on top of Brawny.
Yeah, and how can we forget on top of Brawny as well, this Savage Suplex, if it's able to go off, will be one-shotting any of these temps. The question is, can it go off? Hyperkinetic Strike going into the Scunch spot. Is it enough? I think it... Oh!
Ooh, well, it looks like it'll... Oh, wait, but the Toxic Ink goes faster, and it looks like Scunch is going to go down without even throwing a punch.
Yeah, incredible stuff coming out from 8-Bit. This Crystal Bite trying to punish the Orphill, but not quite just yet. But there's something to note about these baby temps. They don't have too much HP, so they need a lot of speed. And speed they do have. Both of those temps outspeeding the Scunch there. So well done, you know, 8-Bit seemingly pulling ahead here. 2 temps down for Wet Willie. 8-Bit doing a fantastic job so far, holding that health advantage.
Yeah, but now we've got the Kinu coming out again, giving Gialis another +1/+1. So now he's got to deal with a +2/+2 Gialis, which will be quite the heavy task for 8-Bit to deal with this Gialis. It's a very threatening, did like half of Orphill's health with 1 Crystal Bite. And we're going to see the Hypnosis come out again. He does not want Gialis to be allowed to play the game. Overexerts to put him to sleep. And we're going to see a potential Toxic Ink go onto the Kinu here. And it does. Oh my goodness. It did 85% of the Kinu's health. It looks like the Poison Ticks are going to be able to finish that Kinu off. Gets a beta burst off on the Pajaro for a little bit of damage as well.
Yeah, very interesting decision to go into the Pajaro there. I think you had to punish down the Orifil. That's a speedy bird. Pajaro running out of stamina, as we just saw. It overexerted. Man, the beta burst had to go into that Orifil spot because it might be able to get off another attack. Of course, Sharp Stab is online. The 3 prior move most likely able to outspeed as well. But 8-Baron will retreat the sleeping or the overexerted Pajaro, brings in the Yumishi. Sharp Stab does clean up the Orifil, so well done for Willeh. Maybe trying to bring things back here. The Hypnosis gets deployed, so that Yumishi, wait a minute, it's caffeinated, not gonna get affected. So Willeh not having a full grasp of the traits of the baby Tems. So yeah, Yumishi having that caffeinated trait won't be put to sleep. Well done.
That is not a trait that you have to play around every day. Caffeinated, just giving it the sleep immunity. Just probably Willeh did not expect that one to happen. So yeah, we're gonna see 8-Bitten with 3 Tems staring down Willeh's last 2. He's got a Wolfie left on the back burner, but the Wolfie's down to half HP. And we do have the Smazzy coming out here, and a Smazzy uppercut could potentially do quite a bit of damage to this Wolfie. And then it might be up to Gialis to finish this one off, but the Gialis is +2/+2. He's definitely very threatening. So we're gonna have to see if 8-Bitten's baby Tems have the strength to punch through this Gialis at the end.
Yeah, and the thing is, losing the Kinu, he has nothing directly to check the Smazzy. So we'll see. Gialis does have to carry the victory. The Plague is gonna completely annihilate the Yumishi.
One shot.
Yeah, single one shot. Let's see how much it's gonna do to Smazzy. I believe this is neutral damage. Okay, a little bit under 50%.
Might be calculated. Oh, and there Wolfie goes down to the uppercut. So it's gonna be down to just the Gialis. He's gonna have to 1v2 here in order to win. He's got the +2 speed Pajaro, so he could potentially put Gialis to sleep every 3 turns or so, prevent him from playing the game a little bit.
Yeah, and that's a +2 speed, so I think that's exactly the game plan coming out from Workman. He's been doing it the entire game. He put Gialis to sleep twice now, so I wouldn't be opposed to doing it again, but instead it will be the HKS 80%, all the way down to 60, so about 20 or so damage. The double gash does come out, but it doesn't kill. Uppercut will be doing a handful, but now the Hypnosis is back online. Man, and Smazzy doesn't have heat up, does he?
Yes, Smazzy does learn heat up, as a matter of fact, so he could have an opportunity to get a free heat up off while Gialis gets put to sleep this turn. Get that +2 attack, maybe it'll help him win the 1v1 here.
I think it's definitely a good play. So Hypnosis, Gialis hopefully rested there reading that Hypnosis, but it is indeed a heat up. So baby monkey about to pop off. Uppercut will be hitting hard. I don't think, of course, he doesn't have the heavy hitting wreck as his dad would, but he does have a solid uppercut. We saw how much it did. Now it's double damage with 100% increase in attack.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if I saw the Pajaro go out with a hyperkinetic strike here. I fully expected Gialis to try to click sharp stabs or something of that matter on the Pajaro just to take it out of the game. Gialis has had enough. He's like, I don't want to go to sleep anymore. I've slept too much. You're getting out of here.
Yeah, wait a minute, the egg move, but the Earth Wave should close it out, and yes, it does.
That hit the egg move Mazzular, and such a good move to run into this Gialis here, and it looks like the baby Tems are gonna win in round.